There was once a teenager, full of hope, ambition, and dreams. He believed, with every fiber of his being, that the world was his to conquer. Every challenge seemed like an opportunity, waiting to be embraced. Life, to him, was full of potential and excitement. But as time passed, something began to shift. His once unstoppable drive started to fade, replaced by the weight of disappointment and defeat. This is the story of a young man whose journey toward greatness was not defined by a single triumph, but by the countless battles he fought with himself. His name was Ethan. Like most teenagers, he had big dreams. Dreams that didn't just live in his head, but fueled his actions. Whether it was sports, academics, or something else entirely, Ethan always believed that success was just around the corner. But life, as it often does, had other plans. At first, it was the small things. He lost a race, didn't make the school team, or fell short of his academic goals. They were all minor setbacks, trivial in the grand scheme of things, but they stung. Each loss chipped away at his confidence, made him question his abilities. Then came bigger challenges. In the span of just a few months, everything seemed to unravel. Ethan's father, his greatest role model, fell ill. The once strong man who had taught him how to keep going, no matter the odds, was now lying in a hospital bed. Ethan spent sleepless nights by his side, struggling to maintain his usual spirit. But the weight of his father's illness, combined with his own growing doubts, was too much to bear. Soon, his grades began to slip, his relationships with friends grew strained, and the passions that once lit his soul seemed distant. His dreams felt like a fading star, impossible to reach. For the first time in his life, Ethan began to doubt himself. The world that once seemed full of promise now felt heavy, suffocating. Every failure, every setback, seemed to echo louder than the last. The hope he once carried felt like a distant memory. But just as Ethan was on the verge of giving up, something unexpected happened. One afternoon, as he was walking home from school, an old mentor, Mr. Ramirez, stopped him. Mr. Ramirez was the coach of the track team, someone Ethan hadn't spoken to in years. He was known for his wisdom, his no-nonsense attitude, and his uncanny ability to see potential in others. "Ethan," he said with a slight smile, "I've been watching you for a while. I know it's been tough, but I see something in you. There's more inside you than you know. Don't give up now." Ethan felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in months, a flicker of hope. It wasn't much, but it was enough to remind him that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't done yet. The next few weeks were difficult. Every day felt like a struggle, but Ethan made a choice. He decided to give himself one more chance, to stop listening to the doubts in his mind. He started to put in the work, not because he expected instant results, but because he knew that he had to try. He spent hours training on the track, pushing through the physical pain, and doing his best to silence the nagging voice of failure in his head. Some days, it felt impossible, but other days, there was progress. The runs became smoother, his body grew stronger, his mind, though hesitant, began to shift. He wasn't the same person he was before. He was stronger, more resilient. And though the setbacks didn't disappear overnight, something was changing deep within him. Ethan realized that the road to success wasn't always about being the best. It was about being willing to keep going, no matter how many times you fell down. As time passed, Ethan's transformation became clear. His confidence grew, not because of the victories he achieved, but because he learned to embrace the struggle. He learned that the true measure of success wasn't found in the number of trophies or accolades you accumulated, but in your ability to rise after every fall. His performance on the track improved. The training paid off. But more importantly, he began to reconnect with the person he had once been. The person who wasn't afraid to dream big. The person who believed that, no matter the obstacles, greatness was within reach. One day, after months of hard work, Ethan made the team. But this time, it wasn't just about winning a race. It was about something deeper. The team was facing a major competition, one that could define their future. And it was Ethan, the teenager who once doubted his every step, who would be the one to lead them. The day of the race arrived. It wasn't just a race. It was a culmination of everything Ethan had fought for. The crowd was buzzing with anticipation, the air thick with pressure. But Ethan stood at the starting line with a calm he hadn't felt before. The gunshot rang out, and for a moment everything disappeared except for the sound of his breath and the rhythmic pounding of his feet against the track. His body moved without hesitation, his muscles no longer weighed down by doubt. And when he crossed the finish line first, it wasn't just a victory, it was a testament to everything he had overcome. Ethan's victory that day didn't just earn him a trophy, it earned him something far more valuable: self-respect. He had learned that success wasn't about avoiding failure, it was about how you handled it. It was about resilience, perseverance, and the strength to continue even when the world seemed to be against you. In the years that followed, Ethan's journey didn't stop at just becoming a champion. He became a symbol of what it meant to rise from the ashes, to transform adversity into strength, and to never, ever give up. He shared his story with others, inspiring countless young people to keep fighting, no matter how tough life became. Ethan's story is one of growth, not only as an athlete, but as a person. His transformation wasn't just about reaching the top, it was about realizing that true victory comes from within. It comes from overcoming your fears, your doubts, and your struggles. It comes from having the strength to stand back up when life knocks you down. And as Ethan stands at the peak of his career, he knows one thing for sure: his journey is far from over. Every challenge he faces from here on out will be another opportunity to prove that greatness isn't measured by success. It's measured by the courage to never stop trying. The truth is, the world often rewards the wrong things. We look for success in titles, in fame, and the recognition of others. But Ethan's victory was something different. He earned something much more meaningful: the respect of himself. When you look at someone who has achieved what others might call greatness, remember that it's not just about the medals they wear or the applause they receive. It's about everything they had to overcome to get there. It's about the countless hours of training, the moments of doubt, the setbacks, the failures. Success is rarely linear. It's not about winning every single time. It's about the courage to keep going when everything around you tells you to quit. And so, the question becomes, what are you going to do when faced with your own setback? Will you let it define you, or will you let it fuel your growth? Like Ethan, you have everything you need to push through. Every challenge, every failure, and every setback is just another step towards discovering your true potential. So, what's your next step going to be? Will you keep running, no matter how many times you fall? Or will you give up before you've even had the chance to find out what you're capable of? Your story, just like Ethan's, is still being written. So ask yourself, how will you rise?